Today on the Fix-It Shed, I want to talk about a new gardening tool that we just picked up. It is a Broadfork. So you use a Broadfork, you can use it in light tilling of soil, you can use it in harvesting, like for potatoes or carrots, things like that that are underground, where you just want to kind of loosen up the dirt. You don't necessarily want to till it and potentially damage the crop. And I'm going to bring in Jarod from Terra-ble Gardening Videos, and he's going to talk a little bit more about the benefits of using a Broadfork. So I bought this off of Amazon, so this is not sponsored. I purchased it, and let's see what's in the box. All right, so we have some instructions. The assembly is actually pretty easy. There's only 4 bolts that you have to put in to assemble it. Let's see. And here are the 4 bolts. All right. All right, so there's the fork portion of it. Very Wolverine-like. So I did pick this one up because it looked fairly sturdy, had fairly decent reviews. There were some where, you know, when you put this in the ground and you pry it up, the fork tines were actually ripping this tube right here. So I stayed away from that one. Hopefully this one is strong enough. It feels pretty strong. All right. Yeah. And then the only other thing is just the handle is the last thing in here. So it does have 2 rubber grips. So one thing I did see with the reviews on this, there are holes drilled in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, for the 4 bolts. And on some of them, one of the holes wasn't drilled. So nice to see that all of these are drilled. Unfortunately, some people gave this a 1-star review because the holes were not drilled. I could see maybe deducting a few points for that, but I don't see knocking it down to 1 star just because I have to drill a hole. Anyway, let's get this assembled. All right. So, it fits together like that. So it does come with carriage bolts, and so as you can see, one hole on this side is square, the other side is round. So you want to put the carriage bolt through the square side. There you go. So that the head of the carriage bolt fits into the square slot. Like that. All right, and then we can put, it came with a washer. So I could see how a lock washer might come in handy, or some Loctite. But we're going to go with this for now. So again, I'm going to put the bolt in through the outside. Okay. All right, and then we just need a 9/16 inch wrench to tighten these nuts down. All right, those are good and tight. All right, so one thing that you want to make sure when you are assembling it, these forks, if they're pointing up, you want these handles also pointing up so that you have the leverage when you're pulling on it to tilt the soil. All right, so now we're joined by Jarod from Terra-ble Gardening Videos, and he knows a little bit more about the Broadfork. So what would be the benefit of using a Broadfork over just a traditional gas tiller?
So the benefit of using a Broadfork is that we're able to work the soil more gently, right? As opposed to tilling, which is mixing up all of the different soil horizons and all those different layers. This implement is able to do a lot less damage, and we're still able to aerate the soil and get the beds ready for planting, or just loosening the soil for whatever type of job we might need that for. So the Broadfork is a really good beneficial tool that we can use where it's human powered. We're not using fossil fuels to get the job done, but this is completely human powered.
All right, should we go try it out?
Sure. All right, so as mentioned, the Broadfork is meant for preparing the soil before planting and things of that nature, right? It's not designed for breaking new ground or anything like that. Of course, if there are any like large tree roots nearby too, you also want to be careful of that because that could potentially damage the Broadfork, right? And so we don't want that to happen. So what I have here is I have a bed in this garden, and I'm getting ready to plant a little bit earlier in the season. So basically all we do is we place the fork where we want it, try to distribute the weight as evenly as possible, and we gently lift up, right? We go down to the depth that we want, so you can you can break up the soil as shallowly or as deeply as you would like. I can definitely hear some rocks down there, and then you back up the fork a little bit more and repeat the thing over and over, right? Now I am stepping on this bed before the Broadfork is able to get in there, and that's okay. A little bit of soil compaction will soon be uncompacted by the work of the Broadfork. And so this is a really great way to be able to loosen up the soil, get more air in the soil, and more accessible to different beneficial microbes down in the deeper depths of the soil profile.
All right, so what did you think about when you were using it? Did it feel sturdy? Did it feel like it was bending and might break?
So this felt like solid metal, so it was pretty sturdy, really sturdy. Felt very confident with using it. Didn't seem like it was gonna break or snap on me or anything like that.
Cool. All right, so if you got something out of this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to help out the Fix-It Shed, please be sure to subscribe. Also, Jarod has a channel called Terra-ble Gardening Videos, so if you're a gardener, I highly recommend that you subscribe to that. He's got a lot of great information on there. Thanks for watching. Take care.